So question number 77. Five students have done. That's it. Book My Room is a broker facilitating the letting of private accommodation between individuals. Which of the following is a likely consequence of their financial statements? Their network of contracts will be recognized as an intangible asset on their statement of financial position. The true value of Book My Room may be understated on their financial statement on the statement of financial position. The expenses on the statement of profit or loss will be overstated. Their statement of cash flows will be reduced as the private individuals sought payment of the lettings out between themselves. The question is about Book My Room is a broker facilitating the letting of credit. So they are into service industry. Which of the following is a likely consequence for their financial statement? So what would happen? Network of contracts will be recognized as an intangible asset on the statement of financial position. There is no such thing, network of contracts which can be valued and then the value can be returned in the books of accounts is not a possibility. As of now, there is no possibility that network of contracts can be valued, quantified. So A cannot be the answer. B says the true value of Book My Room may be understated on a statement of financial position. That could be a possibility, but we will look into the other two and then come back. The expense on the statement of profit or loss will be overstated. Can such a thing happen? That expenses will be accounted as they are incurred. There is no question about expenses are overstated. They cannot be stated more than what they are incurred. There is a possibility that they are deferred. That could be a possibility, but that is not the situation where they are overstated more than what they have incurred. Then D says the statement of cash flows will be reduced as the private individuals sought payments of the lettings of between themselves. If the private individuals sought payments of the lettings out of letting out between themselves, so that is not a business transaction which can be recorded in the statement of cash flow. Only those payments which are made to the supplier or for operating expenses only are accounted individually between them. Anything will not, any cash payment made will not affect the statement of cash flow. So that awareness we should have. So on that note, this is a possibility. The true value of Book My Room may be understated on the statement of financial position. So that is the only possibility what we can see. Which of the following statements about big data and internal audit function are true? The emergence of big data has improved the accuracy of data. which means smaller sample sizes now need to be tested. It's not about the smaller sample sizes, no. There is no uh, there is no need for selecting a smaller sample size and then testing that. See, the entire data set, the large data set can be processed at one go, or making into uh, large data sets and then processing it simultaneously. So that possibility is there. Now drawing a smaller sample size and then testing that is now not needed. B says internal audit will now be testing and analyzing larger populations of data. Yes, that is a possibility, because larger population of data can be tested with the help of big data. So internal audit now can depend on considering the entire large volume of data. C, big data has no relevance to the internal audit function. There is nothing like that. Big data can be applied even in case of internal audit also. So C cannot be the right. D, big data will contribute to the development of more efficient and insightful management control systems and budgeting processes. Big data will contribute to the development. Is that a possibility? They only process the data. How can they contribute to the development of more efficient and insightful management control systems and budgeting process? That is the role of the top management. Big data's role is only to analyze the data. So BCB is the correct one. Cryptocurrency should be accounted for as cash and cash equivalents on the statement of financial position. Is this true or false? I think a similar question we've done yesterday. No, that's about cloud computing. This one. Cryptocurrency should be considered as intangible assets in the. So they are not considered as intangible assets. So here it would be false, because as of now it's not recognized that that can become a type of asset in the statement of financial position. So on that note, it is false. 80. SO Handy is a relatively young business comprising a franchised network of laborers such as plumbers, electricians, and carpenters. Each franchisee has an app that enables them to log and record the expenses they incur, as well as scanning all receipts for materials purchased. What type of technology are they making use of? Please answer this one.
Option E, ma'am.
Internet of Things, ma'am.
Internet of Things. Okay. Anyone else to give another answer?
Option D, ma'am. Mobile technology.
Mobile technology. Okay. I just wanted to put this slide so that the clarity would be there. Um, what is Internet of Things? Internet of Things is smart devices. It talks about smart devices with inbuilt software and then connectivity to the internet. That is about all the smart devices which can be used. So together we call them as Internet of Things. Then what is mobile technology? Mobile technology talks about uses the CDMA. The rapid development in mobile technology has emerged at the same time as huge advance in internet technology and connectivity, etc. So the suitable answer for this one, each franchisee has an app that enables them to log and record the expense as they incur, as well as scanning all receipts and materials purchased. So which I got two answers now. B, Internet of Things, and mobile technology. There is an app. It's about an app. It is not about a device. An app that enables them to log in and record. So apps built into the mobile technology. So the most appropriate one is D. See, Internet of Things could have been correct when they use a device to operate that, but this is just an app. 81. Technological developments are driving an increase in process automation. Consequently, some of the traditional skills of a finance professional, such as data collection and processing, will need to be replaced with higher level skills. Which skill is required to make decisions and evaluate data sources? Future finance professionals will require higher level skills. One is analytical skills to analyze the data, business acumen, using the framework in future when such a situation arises, and with judgment, uh, not being biased or anything, take the right judgment. Then people managing people skills and leadership. These are the skills which are required by finance professionals. So on that note, this question is tested. See, technological developments are driving an increase in process automation. Consequently, some of the traditional skills of a finance professional, such as data collection and processing, will need to be replaced with higher level skills. It is about the replacing of data collection and processing with higher level skills. Anal-
Option A.
Analytical skills is analyzing the data. People skill is managing people. Judgment is take a decision whether this has to be done or not. Leadership is about motivating or leading them. Now the judgment is should they be replacing the conventional data collection and processing, those traditional uh, functions, with the higher level skills. So that is a judgment they have to take. Um, See, it is not very clearly it's about judgment, but definitely we understand that the other three things do not fit in here. There's no data collected that analytical skills have to be used. There are no people whom they have to manage, or they need not motivate and drive those people or lead those people. So that is also not there. On that note, now the decision is about whether the data collection and processing should be replaced with some other set of skills. So on that note, that fits their judgment because the other three do not fit there. 82 says, during her appraisal interview, Eddie's line manager praises her for having a good understanding of the business environment. Which essential skill is Eddie displaying? Acumen, leadership skills, judgment, analytical skills. A good understanding of the business environment. Once they understand that, they can implement that in future. So that's about the acumen. Good understanding, a similar situation which arises, then they can apply the same pattern there. Which three of the following are principles with GDPR? General Data Protection Regulation outlines the following principles about data and the data usage. General Data Protection Regulation outlines the following principles about data and data usage. Used fairly, lawfully, and transparently. Used for specified explicit purposes. Used in a way that is adequate, relevant, and limited to only what is necessary. Accurate and where required, kept up to date. Kept no longer than is necessary, handled to ensure appropriate security. I have explained, elaborated on all of those points. So now let's select the answer. Data must not be kept for longer than 5 years. Nothing like that about a specific period of time, but it is only when it is not needed, they are archived, or when they are very sure that it would no longer be needed, then only it would be considered for deleting. But otherwise, no time frame is there that for 5 years or 10 years or anything like that. If in the present, if any data which is not used or not I mean uh, not applicable in the present scenario, so what is done is that data is archived. Okay, keep it in some other place, and in future if they require, they would retrieve that, but otherwise it would be archived. Only when I mean it is convinced that they are convinced that such data is not at all useful and no longer need to be maintained there, in such situation only it is deleted. So data must not be kept for 5 years. There's no such time frame there. Data must be used for a specified explicit purpose. That's there. Data held must be accurate. That is also there. Data must be used transparently. Then what about the last one? Data should always be in hard copy format. Not necessary. Digital assets, so they are in soft copy also. So E cannot be the answer. 84. Compliance with GDPR is the only thing that matters where data usage is concerned. Compliance with GDPR is the only thing that matters where data usage is concerned. Is the statement true or false? Is it about compliance with GDPR, or whatever the regulation says that they have to comply with that? The GDPR talks about, outlines the following principles and data usage. What principle should be followed? Compliance is always with the regulation. Whether they comply with the statutory regulations or not is the situation. Because the law talks about what has to be done. It is not about GDPR, okay, General Data Protection Regulation. Um, they just give guidelines, but the law, the statutory regulations, so they talk about what should be complied, what should be followed. If they do not comply, they are penalized for that. So on that note, it would be false. Corporate digital responsibility involves a commitment to protect customers. Which two of the following statements are true about CDR? It demonstrates an awareness of the risks associated with data. It is necessary as all data regulations are covered with GDPR. It is a voluntary commitment to go beyond mere compliance with legislation. It is a legal requirement for any organization that holds data about its customers. We need to choose any two. It involves a commitment to protecting both customers and employees and ensuring that new technologies and data are used both productively and wisely. And these are the 5 key areas. What two answers are correct? Please answer. It demonstrates an awareness of the risk associated with data. It is unnecessary as all data regulations are covered within GDPR. It is a voluntary commitment to go beyond mere compliance with legislation. It is a legal requirement for any organization that holds data about its customers. It is unnecessary as all data regulations are covered within GDPR. Not uh, that is not the situation. See, all data regulations are not there. The GDPR only gives guidelines, or it only gives principles what have to be followed. So on that note, B is not selected. It is a legal requirement for any organization that holds data about its customers. It is not a legal requirement. They feel the responsibility. In the context of CDR, which of the following is an example of digital inclusion? This is the last point, digital inclusion. Which one of the following is an example of digital inclusion? Incentivizing customers to give more data. Incentivizing customers, sorry, I'm really sorry. Incentivizing customers to give more data. The customer's ability to opt in and be rewarded for sharing data. Helping and supporting customers to access the online digital world. A bank using a customer's financial information to help them improve their financial management. When we talk about digital inclusion or inclusion, uh, it is meant to benefit the society at large. So that is the about inclusion. So digital inclusion, the first one is they are only getting some benefit by incentivizing customers to give more data. So it's kind of a give and take, or they're paying money to get the information. So there's no benefit which is created for the public. So A cannot be the answer. B, the customer's ability to opt in and be rewarded for sharing data. This one is also talking about reward system. So this also cannot be the answer. C is the answer because helping and supporting customers to access online digital world. So for the benefit of the customers, they are creating this online digital world. So that becomes a part of digital inclusion. D says a bank using a customer's financial information to help them improve their financial management. What is meant by digital inclusion? I think this question should have been before the previous one. 87, 88 will do and then go back to PPT. What is meant by digital inclusion? So, digital inclusion, something which benefits the society at large. So, that is about inclusion. A says the use of technology to analyze an entire data population rather than a sample. The need to reward and incentivize customers to provide companies with data. The attempt to ensure that all members of society have the skills and tools to access the online digital world. The use of blockchain technology to synchronize data and transactions across a network. So here in this case, it is about all members of society would be benefited because of the attempt to ensure that they all have these skills and tools to access the online digital world. So that is about digital inclusion. Inclusion, yesterday also I told you, so when there is something which is taken up for the benefit of the society at large, then we call that to be as inclusion. Let's take up 88, then go back to PPT. Which three of the following are important dimensions of a digital mindset? What is digital mindset? Instead of depending on individual um, aspects of the digital technology, focusing on all these technologies together, what impact can, what benefit can they cause to the community at large, and on account of that, how can the company be benefited? That is about the digital mindset. So 3 points we have to select. Otherwise, let me show you what is digital mindset. Is the concept of seeing beyond the individual elements of digital technology to understand the deeper, all pervading ways in which digital technology will ultimately transform every aspect of society and therefore impact the organization. So now select anyone. A says empowering employees to take action to adapt the organization, letting go of existing business practices in favor of new ideas, fully embracing and exploring new technologies, trusting intuition and vision to focus on change, maintaining a clear vision of how the business should change. So it is not focusing on any one particular technology, but the overall impact what it can cause on to the society, and then thereby causing an impact on the business. So empowering employees to take actions to adapt the organization. We can go with this. B, letting go of the existing business practices. It's not about that, but rather looking at what impact will the technology have on the society and the organization. So B cannot be the answer. C, also embracing, fully embracing and exploring new technologies. That is also not the answer. Uh, Fully embracing and exploring new technologies. So C can be because it is about exploring new technology. So C is the answer. D says trusting intuition and vision to change, focus on change, maintaining a clear vision of how the business should change. So E is the most appropriate. Trusting intuition and vision to focus on change is at the time of strategic planning. So not now. So we choose A, C, and E. Of course, we have done this part also. We've covered this content also, but for quite some time we've been doing this MCQs. For some time, at least we'll work out on we'll study about the content, the remaining content, and then we can come back to the exam kit. Yesterday, we were looking at how data um, is useful in finance function, in sales and marketing, in operations. So that is what we have understood. Then, um, what are digital assets? Creating value from digital assets, data protection. Now we will look into data to create and preserve value for organizations. So that's the next topic. So data to create and preserve value for organizations. So in this case, we are going to look into these are new concepts what we are going to learn. Data strategy and planning, data engineering, extraction and planning, data modeling, manipulation and analysis, data insight and communication. Yesterday also we've studied about the skills which are needed by the finance professionals. First one is technical skills, application of accounting and finance skills. Business skills are knowledge of data sources, analytical skills and judgment. People skill, managing the people, being empathy, building empathy and interactions with stakeholders. Leadership skills are leading the team, that is team building, coaching and mentoring, driving performance and change management, and the ability to motivate and inspire. Digital skills, digital skills about how the digital technologies, whatever are present, can be effectively used. That is about digital skills. For example, understanding information and data, data strategy and planning, data analytics and data visualization. Both a standalone skill and permeates the other four skills. So data strategy and planning, it is useful in sales, it is useful in production. How we will discuss. Useful in production, it is useful in HR, shareholders, employees, managers and directors. The various stakeholders require data. Data is the base for taking decisions. Once they have the data, see, even in the finance function framework, the first step what it starts with is assembling of data or assembling of information rather. So collection of information, assembling of information. So that's the first step. Why? Because once the data is available, data can be analyzed. And when data is analyzed, insights can be drawn. When insights are drawn, better decisions can be taken. So that's the purpose behind this. The first is stakeholder, people in the sales department or the ones who are there in sales. What type of data do they require? What is their data requirement? So we are focusing on people who are involved with sales department, sales people who do the sales, what kind of data do they require? The same set of students are there, but no response is coming. Um, so the information what sales department people require is they would want to have the data relevant for taking decisions relating to sales. So sales, the major thing what they have to understand is what should be the price. They have to have some understanding about how they will decide the selling price. So selling price, the conventional method of deciding the selling price is cost price plus profit. That's how the price is decided. But not always that would work. Selling price is equal to cost price plus profit. This is the equation we know. But depending on what is the cost they spent, if the selling price is decided, the selling price may not be accepted by the customers. Uh, when would they not accept that? So in situations where the competition is severe in the market, there are many sellers present there with their products, and if by any chance, if they offer a price which is lower than what the price the business is offering, in that case the demand will be shifted to others products. So now they need to understand about what is the right price which can be charged to the products and services, because the first one is sales department. So what kind of information do they seek? What is sales? Sales is number of units into selling price per unit. So deciding the selling price per unit is a very crucial thing. Um, See, when the competition is severe, so what is done in such situation is more or less everybody offers the same price. So with little variation, everybody would come forward to give the product at a similar price, at the same price. So what is the prevailing price in the market? If they get to understand that, measures can be taken to charge the price at the market prevailing price. So that's the point there. So data has to be collected about what are the strategies of the competitors, what prices are they charging. So that is the data which they are seeking. Fine. Live data on competitors, pricings and market trends, metrics on key customer feedback. Then we see production. Production, uh, see collection and recording of cost data. Live systems automatically record reorder stock. See in a stores department where the stock is stored, from there the stock or inventory is issued to the production department. The production department will depend on stores department. Stores department has to place orders with the purchase with the suppliers to purchase the material. So as and when the stock levels keep decreasing, then they have to decide about when would they place an order. Let's say that from a zero number of units to the maximum number of units, let's say that they buy material and store it, the maximum amount of material what they can purchase. So to that extent, metal is purchased and it is stored. But as they are using, as the material is issued to the production department, this keeps coming down. This keeps decreasing. So do they wait until it comes to zero and place another order? Generally, it is not that, because buying of material cannot be done instantly. There is a procedure which has to be followed, like asking the supplier to supply the product. So when they maintain the maximum stock, as the units keep decreasing and they are issued to the production department, so then they have to decide about when would they place another order with the supplier, because the supplier, when an order is placed, he cannot deliver the products immediately, instantly. It cannot happen. He requires some time to deliver that. The normal procedure is the supplier is asked to present the quotations. Then, based on the quotations or tenders, what we call it as, um, one supplier is selected. When one supplier is selected, the order is placed with the supplier. Supplier delivers the material. Material is received at the factory gate, and that is inspected and sent to the stores department. So, what do we understand here? That is a time consuming process. So, when it is a time consuming process, so they need to place an order even before it touches zero. So, let's say that here at this point, they place another order, reorder point for a reorder quantity. At that time, they will also decide about how many units will they place. So at this point of inventory, the order is placed, and then the material is still continued to be used from the available material. So it keeps decreasing. So during this period where the supplier takes some time to deliver the material, so during that period also they still should have some material available with them. So now they have to understand, the production department people have to have an understanding about what is the reorder level and reorder stock. So they are worried that if the stock does not come in due time, production work would be stopped. So on account of that, they would be worried, they would be concerned about what is the reorder point and what is the reorder stock or reorder quantity, what we call it as. Okay, so they also require information, they also require data about how the inventory levels are maintained in the organization. The HR department also requires data about how would the employees' performance is evaluated, appraisal, productivity analysis, and data on the internal progression and training days, because HR department takes into consideration about the training requirements of the employees, and from time to time training is provided to the employees. So they look at information about the employees, who would be placed in what role, etc., would be decided by the HR department. Shareholders, a move to integrated reporting could see a shift in the data needs. What is integrated reporting? See, reporting involves the reporting of the financial statement, but integrated reporting talks about those transactions which are not measurable in terms of money when they do not appear in their I think voice is not coming. There is some issue with that. See, HR department has to take care of the employees in the organization. So their appraisal system, productivity analysis, how the employees are performing in the organization. Are they entitled to receiving any incentives or bonus or rewards? And how many number of training days are provided? What's the attendance during those days, etc. Should would are required by HR department because they are the ones who have to calculate the incentives which are earned by the employees. So that is about HR department. Then shareholders, they would want um, all the reports to be integrated. The financial statements only report those transactions which are measurable in terms of money. The definition of accounting says so. So only those that are measured in terms of money are included in the financial statement. But there is something more. There is more information which is connected to the financial operations and position of the organization. Therefore, reports on other aspects should be prepared, like a report on what is their credit policy, a report on how employees are taken care, that is HR department report. What is the amount of stock which is maintained by them? What policy do they adopt? So that is looked into. How are they valuing their assets, all the physical assets, what they have, intellectual assets, intellectual property and all, what, how do they value that? All these reports should be integrated because when these reports are prepared, they are useful for various stakeholders. Suppose, let's say, a report on what is their working capital position. So, who would be benefited with working capital information? Banks will be benefited. They would understand about whether an additional loan has to be granted to them or not. They can also understand their risk part of it. How many loans do they have now? Will they have the ability to pay back if another loan is sanctioned? So, such information can be drawn. That reports on various aspects about what is the credit policy, how many days of credit did they provide to the customers, etc. So there are many reports which can be prepared. There's a disturbance in the voice. Where are we? Which point are we discussing? Shareholder, did I complete the entire point? You got that? move to integrated reporting. Various other aspects also on which reports are prepared, and they should be integrated with the report on the financial statement, because there are many other stakeholders who would be interested to know about the uh, transactions affairs of the business. Therefore, shareholders um, seek to prepare integrated reporting. Various other reports are prepared, and they are integrated with the report on financial statements, and they are used for reporting purposes. Employees, what kind of data do they look into? So, in a unique position to flag inefficiencies in the system and suggest improvements. So, employees are internal resources. Their contribution towards feedback has great importance, so they would be providing a feedback. See, we are going to look into, there is one concept called as kaizen costing. After a while we will look into that, maybe today or some other day, tomorrow or sometime. So kaizen costing is a Japanese concept. They work on continuous improvement. So one source for them to improve on a continuous basis is collect the feedback from the employees. So here also, employees are the ones who flag inefficiencies in the system and they suggest improvements. So feedback is given by the employees. So that is one source of data. Then we see managers and directors. Managers and directors are the ones who take decisions. They are the ones who take decisions. So data visualization, the data that is collected, if it is summarized and presented in a visually appealing manner, that is useful for them. So we see that there are various stakeholders. These stakeholders require the data for these purposes, and this is how their requirement can be taken into consideration. After this, after this, uh, the next topic what we have is data engineering, extraction and mining. Under that, the concept of ETL. What is ETL? It says extraction, transformation and loading. Extraction, transformation and loading are three stages in transferring data. Extraction is getting the information, collecting, extracting from various sources, then transforming that, and then loading. Loading talks about storing that data. Are three stages in transferring data. They are combined into a single tool to automatically bring data from various sources, that is extraction, and then they are ultimately loaded or stored in one place. So before that, it is transformed, it is processed. So that is ETL, extraction, transformation and loading. The concept of business intelligence. What is BI? Business intelligence. Business intelligence is the technology driven processes of analyzing business data to generate insightful and actionable information with a view to improving the operations of products of a business. To analyze the data, the technology driven process, when it is used for the purpose of analyzing business data, so that insights can be drawn, and the improvement can be brought about in an organization. So that is business intelligence. ETL is a component of wider BI. So ETL is the process of extraction, transformation, and loading that data, storing that data in a particular place. So if that is ETL is a part of BI. What is BI? BI is using the technology. They would analyze the data so that insights can be drawn, and they are useful for taking some decisions. So that is BI. So ETL is a component of BI. BI is BI takes into consideration about how would they analyze that. Analyzing the data will be after the data is collected by extraction. Then it is transformed. Transforming is the processing part of it. So therefore, ETL is a component of wider BI. ETL provides the required data. BI accesses and analyzes this data further for information and insight. Data visualization is then used by BI to present findings to the wider business. What is data modeling, manipulation, and analysis? Conceptually, you have to learn all these terms. You have to be aware of what does each term mean. So conceptually, you have to be very sound in these things. A data model considers the data of an organization in a systematic way that allows it to be stored and retrieved in an efficient and effective manner. Manipulation is changing that so that it becomes usable. See, the process of changing data to make it easier to read is data manipulation. So to manipulate that, they require data manipulation language, DML. A data model outlines the parameters of data held in the database. So that is about storing and retrieving. Data model is systematic way of storing and retrieving the data. This data has to be used. So for the purpose of using it, when it is manipulated, when it is changed so that it becomes easy to process the data, that is called as manipulation. Manipulation is possible only with the help of data manipulation language, DML. So a DML is then used to search and interrogate the data. Data insights and communication. Data strategy is a coherent approach for organizing, governing, analyzing, and deploying an organization's information assets. A strategy in terms of data. So, the approach of organizing, governing, analyzing, and deploying an organization's information assets. Information assets are data. So, how do they manage that? What strategy do they have in terms of managing the data is data strategy. So the four V's, what we discuss about big data, that we can apply it here. A business will need to cope with the attributes of big data, that is the four V's. And this data strategy should consider the following. So the strategy should consider about the volume. Four V's are volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. So the first V talks about volume. Uh, Ability to handle the large quantity of data. So when they are planning for the data, planning taken up which concerns data. So even if the data volume is large, it should be taken up. So taken up for organizing, governing, and analyzing. So that is the strategy relating to the data, in spite where the volume is large. Then the velocity talks about the speed with which the data is processed. So big data considers the speed at the greater speed the data is processed. Here, velocity talks about how to process the millions of data points generated every minute. So considering the large volume of data and then also being able to process it, the data, that aspect also has to be considered by data strategy. Variety, so when data is collected, not a particular pattern of data only will be considered, but any type of data, whether it is internal, external, structured, unstructured, quantitative, qualitative, financial, non-financial, any type of data which is collected should be, um, they should be able to process that, organize, analyze, etc. So that should be taken up. Then the data which is used, the system should validate them. Validate is whether this is a reliable data, that has to be taken into consideration. So it is about the reliability. Veracity talks about whether it is reliable data, dependable data, whether it is true. Okay, so that has to be considered. So veracity talks about system data must be validated. Data visualization and the finance function. So what is visualization? Presenting the data in a visually appealing manner. So how should that be presented? Is it there is a standard format? No, it depends on. There are three important points. Who are the audience? See, when the audience have the accounting knowledge, they can comprehend or they can understand about the data which is presented in accounting format. It need not be converted into data visualization. They understand that those people who are from accounting finance background, they don't have to be provided with the simplified version of data. But then those people who are from non-accounting background, who do not understand the accounting terminology and the formats which are used, for their purpose, the data has to be made into visually appealing. So data visualization depends on the first point, who are the audiences. Second one, how do they want the data? How can they understand? How do they want to have this data be presented? Take the requirement and then present it or prepare that data in a manner in which they can understand. So first we understand who are the audience. Second, how do they want the data has to be understood. Third one says what outcome do they want? What is that they are looking at? Are they looking at the performance of 1 year or on a comparative manner, or they want to understand the trend over a period of time, or they want to compare it with another business in the market? See, what is that basically they are looking at, and they seek to understand from that what outcome do um, they want, do we want, how do they want to be presented, how do we want it to be presented. That has to be taken into consideration. So who are the audience, what do they want, and what is that the business wants in terms of catering to the requirements of the audience. So that's what outcome do we want. How many are there? Shall we do a few MCQs? Let's take a small. How the finance function interacts with operations. So now, till now, it is all about data. So whatever we were discussing about that, how data is useful in various functions, finance function, operations, sales and marketing, etc. So what is the role of data? How data is planned, strategies, etc. Everything related to data. Now the chapters start when how the finance function interacts with operations. After operations, we see that is itself is a very big chapter. Then how it interacts with sales and marketing, operations, sales and marketing. Then we also see that how it does with the human resources. Then finally, it is about how the finance function interacts with IT. So these are the four chapters what are remaining. Until now, what we have studied, we started on understanding what is the role of finance function, then how the finance function has evolved over a period of time, what is the shape of the organization structure, how it transformed from a pyramid shape to a diamond shape. Then we started to look at what are the technologies, digital technologies, which are um, um, which are replacing many roles in the finance function. So that part of it we have understood clearly that most of the roles at the entry level will be taken over by the technology. So very few roles at the middle level and the top level will be taken over by technology. So we have understood individual elements of digital technology, starting from cloud computing and all various aspects of it. Then we went on to understand about what is data. So what is the role of data, how data is helpful in the organization, very specifically with each function of the business. So what is data management, what are digital assets, what is um, digital assets, and then how they are managed, then data modeling, those aspects, everything connected to data we have learned. The last part of it in the syllabus, but this itself takes a lot of time. um, so the last part of it is about the title is managing finance in a digital world. So finance is getting affected because of technology, that part we've discussed. Now how finance interacts with other functions, so that is what we have to look into. So we start with how finance interacts with operations. But what is operations? Yesterday I have mentioned about what is the meaning of operations. The main activity of the business is called as operations. What's the main activity? It starts from buying material from the supplier and delivering the finished goods to the customers is the main activity. So everything in between buying the material from the supplier and delivering it to the customers, every activity which is there between these two things, that is between the supplier and the customer, becomes a part of operation. So first the material is purchased from the supplier and the material is the finished goods are delivered to the customers. So every activity starting from placing an order with the supplier, um, then the material is received, the production work is taken up, the finished goods are moved, then finished goods are moved to the warehouses or showrooms, and then finally when the customers approach with the demand, the goods are delivered to the finished goods are delivered to the customer. So this is the sequence of activities. So at every stage, what is the role of finance is what we are going to look into. Fine. So we will do this and then go to the MCQs part. How the finance function relates to other functions. What is the main role of operations? Interface between operations and finance. Supply chain management. Key performance indicators. In every stage, every point about finance function interacting with the other functions, we are going to look at what are the key performance indicators. So now the the first point here is about how the finance function relates to other functions. Assembles and extracts data to provide information. So remember the framework of finance function. It starts with assembling of information, analyzing this information to draw insights. These insights are used to advise so that there is an influence and finally there is an impact. So finance function first assembles and extracts data to provide information to other functions of the business. So that's the first role. The role of finance function with the other functions, it first starts with extraction of data or information. That information is provided. So any other function of the business, when they seek information, finance function provides that information because the framework starts with collection of information. Second one talks about works with other functions and other stakeholders to influence and shape how the finance, uh, how this function creates and preserves value. So it's not only providing information but also tries to have an influence, impact on the other stakeholders to influence and shape how this function creates and preserves value. Third point, the CFO will work with the head of each function to achieve the desired organizational impact for this function. So the CFO will work with other heads, the leaders of other functions, that is operations, sales and marketing, HR, technology. So CFO, Chief Financial Officer, also will work with the leaders or heads of the other functions, and then all of them together they put an effort to achieve the organization objective. So the to achieve the desired organizational impact for the function. What main roles does it take care? What roles does the finance function take up is no. What are the main roles of operations? Operations start from the purchase of material from the supplier till the delivery of finished goods to the customer. So operations are those activities concerned with the acquisition of raw materials, their conversion into finished goods, and the supply of finished products to the customer. So all of them are a part of operations. All operations consist of a collection of processes. These transform the inputs to outputs. Then processes should have these four V's: volume, velocity, variety, and veracity. These are the four V's there under big data. But there is slight change here: volume, variety, variation. What variation would be taken up in the uh, production process? The processes which are a part of the operations. What are the variations and the visibility? How it can be seen, the visibility part of it. So processes are characterized by the four V's. Then process design seeks to understand. So when this is the operation starting from one end to another end, um, the production activity is in between the material purchased from supplier and delivered to the customer. So it is in between these two levels. So when the production has to be carried on, what is the pattern in which the production process would be carried on? So the process design is an important part. So process design seeks to understand processes and design them to be effective, efficient as much as is possible. Then a process map provides a visual representation of the steps and decisions by which a product or transaction is processed. So how would they move from one stage to another stage? From supplier, raw material is received. Raw material will be moved to the stores department. So raw material is received. So the raw material will be stored in the stores department. We see there is a stores department. The stores department sends the material to the production department. So the production department there, it takes up the production department takes up the conversion process, the conversion of material, raw material into finished goods. So the conversion part of it is done, and the finished goods are moved to the warehouses or showroom, whatever we have the situation, and then finally they are made available to the customers so that it is purchased by the customer. So what is the step by step various steps, step by step decisions about what would be the next course of action? So how do they decide on that? So there should be a process map. So the main role of or what are operations in simple terms, starting from supplier till the customer, every activity which is there as a part of this particular process is part of operations. So when we are talking about the design of processes, see, even before the production work starts, there are certain activities which are taken up by the business. That is, they spend on research and development. After research and development, then they have to work out on the designing part. Designing will be about the product designing. Designing will be about the way the way they would be um, processing the whole activity. So process design also is important. So design is about the product. Design is about the process, right? When they design that, according to the design, the layout will be arranged in the factory. Then the product design also is finalized, then the production work starts. It is not straight away that they would randomly start anything of producing. So they would start on um, designing part of it. So the design of processes will go hand in hand with the design of new products. So both of them have to be designed. How would the product look like? What features will it have? What are the attributes? What are other aspects about the product will have to be decided. They cannot randomly start anything and then say that this is the output. How would the output be is what is first decided, that is designed. Then at the same time, how would they carry out with the process, that is these step by step moving of transferring of material, or moving this material from stage to stage, how would they take it up? That is the designing of the process. So both of them should be there. So all this will start even before the production work starts. So it is not that material received material is immediately converted into finished good. That doesn't happen. So first they have to um, finalize on how they would be taking it up. So the stages in product service development are as follows. First, whenever designing is taken up in any situation, when we talk about designing, the first step about designing is what is the expectation. So here, if we talk about the products, what are the customers looking at? What is their expectation? So that has to be first understood. The expectation of the customers should be taken into consideration, because that is they are the ones who would be using the product. So what are they looking at? What is their requirement has to be first understood. Then the feedback is collected from the customers. Then the concept will be designed. So just because they have given the requirement, production straight away will not start. The concept will be designed, the design will be processed. Then after the design is approved, then they launch it. When it is time to market, after they launch that, they also would be test the design. So these are the steps. It is not only here in case of a product, this is how it would be in case of any new system. Whenever it has to be installed, the first aspect of it is what is that the stakeholder is expecting. Let's say that a new method or new model is installed in an organization. So what does the organization want? What do the people in the organization want? So their requirement has to be taken up. Let's say that they are moving towards computerization, or they are moving towards automation. It's the organization and the people in the organization. So what result are they looking at? First, that has to be understood. The requirement has to be understood. Then create a concept, design a concept, get the approval that this concept is the best, then launch the concept. And when they are launching that, also test that concept. So that holds here in any situation. Designing takes place in that particular fashion. So then it is time to market. When it is launched, it would also be tested, product testing. The first step, I said, I mentioned that the first step is about um, the supplier, and the last step is the customers. So delivery to the customers rather. There are sequence of activities. So there is a model given by Porter calls it as Porter's value chain. Chain is a sequence of activities that add value to the end user. So the sequence of activities which are part of the operations, Porter has classified all these activities broadly as primary activities and support activities. So he mentions that there are certain primary activities, and these primary activities are supported by other activities. But then what are the primary activities? So in this supply chain, what do we see? We see that material is purchased from supplier. It starts with that. So when the material is purchased from the supplier, so first step here it is mentioned as inbound logistics. What are logistics? Logistics are movement of material into the store, into the factory, into the stores department, whatever it is. So the movement into the premises, into the factory, into the stores department. So first it talks about the inbound logistics. So inbound logistics, they arrive, the material arrives into the factory, they're converted into finished goods. The finished goods, the finished goods are then again moved out of the factory. That is outbound logistics. They are moved out of the factory, outbound logistics, and they are placed somewhere in a go down warehouse or showroom. Then they take up the marketing and sales. So promotional activities, conveying the message to the customers that a product is available for sale, or the features of the product, advantages, etc. All those aspects will be conveyed. The promotional activities will be taken up. That is marketing and sales. When the product is sold, is that the end of the activities? No. It goes beyond that, wherein after the product is delivered also, there are sometimes certain services provided to the customers, like the service about some repairs or services have to be provided, because the product, because the sale is covered with warranty guarantee. They have to provide some services to the customers. So if that is within the specified warranty guarantee period, after sales services also will be taken up by the business. So these are all the primary activities, but then these primary activities should be supported with other support activities like whether the infrastructure or the facilities are there. What facilities? Like the plant and machinery should be there, the building should be there, land building should be there, premises should be there, other things which are needed so that the activities can be taken up. All of them have to be arranged. Straight away material cannot be directly converted into finished goods. They require a building, they require the other resources like the plant, machinery, equipment, property, etc. That is infrastructure, the facilities which are needed so that the operation can be carried out. Human resource management, because the staff have to be recruited, they have to be recruited, the selection procedure, then training should be provided, then how they are performing has to be accounted for, appraisal, incentives, all these things related to the staff, someone has to take it up. That is support activity 2, that is human resource management. The technology is also another important thing. So did they um, adopt technology? Did they make changes, update the technology? So in terms of technology, what does the business has to offer? So that is technology. Procurement is acquiring the material, procuring the material is um, see, that is a procedure of procuring material. That is, orders have to be placed with the supplier. But before that, uh, the supplier should be asked to present their quotation to about what would they be delivering, uh, what quantity, quality, price, those aspects have to be um, mentioned by the suppliers in the quotation. They have to present that quotation. So from the quotations, one quotation will be selected based on their requirement, the requirement of the business. Then an order is placed with the supplier. Then the supplier delivers the material. Then material is verified for its quality. Then it is moved to the into the factory and into the stores department. So before the inbound logistics happen, before that, the procedure to select the supplier, place an order with the supplier also has to be fulfilled. Of course, of late we see that The procurement also, procurement is taking place on the e-commerce platforms. The electronic platforms are available where the suppliers list is present on that, and the suppliers give the details about all their products, and then one supplier can be selected. We have India Mart, etc. So platforms are there, the suppliers are present there, and then one supplier can be selected. That also has a procedure. Then order has to be placed with them, the terms and conditions have to be fulfilled before the order is received. So that is the procedure of procurement. Together with the primary activities and support activities, the business will be able to make the profit margin. So that is about the model given by Porter's value chain model. What is the meaning of interface? Interface between operations and finance. So what do you understand by what is interface? Interfaces, where do they both um, so we are talking about interaction between two functions, interaction, or how do they meet, where do they meet, uh, where do they get connected. So these are two different activities in an organization. Operation is about the entire main activity, the supplier to the customer activity is there under operation. Finance function, what is finance function? What three roles are there in finance function? Enables how, shapes how, narrates how. That is about the finance function. So enables, shapes um, how the value is created and preserved, and this how it is narrated. The value that is created, how is it narrated? So that is the role of finance function. So the framework starts with extraction of information and finally having an impact. That is about the finance function. These are two different activities in the organization. There are two different functions in the organization. Where do these two meet? The interface between operations and finance. Interface between operations and finance, in case of purchasing, in case of production, in case of service provision. Purchasing, see, will work with the finance function. The operation one, the first part of it is about purchasing material. So when the material has to be purchased, they have to work with the finance function. That is to seek advice on the best prices to pay suppliers. So the payment part of it. So here it about talks about seeking advice, seeking advice of the finance function, what price to the supplier should be paid. In case of production, we'll work with the finance function, for example, to establish the optimum balance between cost and quality. If the cost control measures have to be taken up, is very important aspect. Why? Because the selling price should be accepted by the customers. When the selling price in the market is competitive, many competitors are present there, and whatever price they offer, most of the time the business also will have to take it up when the competition is severe. So in that case, what is the main thing what will be taken up is there should be a cost control. They have to cut down on the cost. When they cut down on the cost, um, we see that there would be an impact on the quality also. The quality gets affected. The quality will be reduced. So if the quality gets affected, then again that will cause some dissatisfaction among the customers. So how would they cut down on the cost without compromising the quality? That aspect has to be understood. So trying to establish an optimum balance between the cost and quality. Service provision will work with finance function to establish the charge out rates, to decide on what would be the rates, the charge out rates about the services, etc. So operations depend on finance function. Shall we work out few questions? Anything you say, we'll take it up. I think maybe another 2 days we can wind up the syllabus. Yeah, even if I'm teaching very slowly, doing every single question also, maybe 2 days, 3 days, that's it, not beyond that. Around about 40 slides we have a single day, even if we do 15 slides also, I don't think anything beyond 3 days it will take. Shall we work out few uh, MCQs? Attendance is over, students also have left. Wow. Now only 6 students are there. I think I should take the attendance at the last half. So we have section C, data and information in a digital world. So starting from question number 89. 89 to 130. So if we do 89 to 130, and then D, we have finished doing these questions. Section D is over. And then we will have only section E. Section E content we still have not studied. Um, then section E is there. So only 2 sections there present in the exam kit also. Max 3 days we'll finish the syllabus. That's the maximum what we can stretch upon. Question number 89. Match each of the below individuals to the level of decision making they are involved in. Pick from the following options: strategic, tactical, and operational. I have mentioned about 3 levels of management in the hierarchy. The top level is called as the strategic level. They take decisions for the organization as a whole. Tactical is the middle level. They plan for the organization from within to ensure that the decisions taken by the strategic level are effectively implemented. That is, they take up the planning to see that those objectives can be fulfilled. That is at the middle level. That's the tactical level. Operational level, the people who are involved in implementing the plans. So these are 3 different levels: strategic level, tactical level, and operational level. So 89th question, we see we are asked to match these 3 levels with these 3 statements. Jane is reviewing the staff rota for the coming week to see if extra staff are needed. Bill is the director of the company currently involved in an acquisition decision. Pauline is choosing which products will be stocked in each of the stores around the country. Which one is strategic? Which one is strategic? Anyone listening to the class? The director decides about acquisition, acquiring some other business. So it's at the organizational level. So this will be strategic. Jane is reviewing the staffing rota for the coming week to see if extra staff are needed. And then last one, Colin is choosing which products will be stocked in each of the stores around the country. So the planning part of it, Colin is choosing which products. So which products, the decision about which products will be stocked in each of the stores is at the tactical level. So when they are implementing the plan, then they are verifying how many staff members are needed. So this becomes operation. Question number 90. Providing insightful information to the organization can enhance the competitive advantage. However, will also always increase the cost to the business. Is this statement true or false? Please answer. Only two options are there. Any one you can choose. Providing insightful information to the organization can enhance the competitive advantage. However, will also always increase the cost to the business. Always increase, not necessary. Therefore, it is not always, it may be situations where the cost would not increase, but there could be benefit because of the information which is provided. So it will be false. 91 says, which three of the following are ways that data and technology can support the marketing function? Data and technology can support the marketing function. Comparing prices with competitors, assessing the viability of market segments, improving efficiencies in the supply chain, preventive maintenance of products, personalizing communication with customers. Marketing will be connected to promoting the products. C talks about supply chain. Supply chain is basically operational. Preventive maintenance of products is also part of the operation. So we don't go with C and D, but we choose what are the prices of the competitors, assessing the viability of the market segments, and then personalizing communication with customers. '92, which three of the following are ways that data and technology can support operations? Data and technology can support operations. So operations, already we have discussed about what activities are covered. That is about starting from purchase of material from the supplier and till the delivery to the customer. So which three of the following are the ways? So first one, identifying bottlenecks in process, preventative maintenance of products, forecasting production, identifying training needs of employees, targeting customers with offers. D is about human resource, identifying training needs of employees is human resource. Last one, targeting customers, is marketing. The first three are related to the production. We see bottlenecks in processes, preventative maintenance of products, forecasting production. So these are all about the operations. So A, B, and C. We go with A, B, and C. Images, audio files, and animations are examples of what? This you should be able to tell me.
Digital assets.
That's right. Somebody is listening to me. Thank God. 94. Taylor Training Company produced a bank of educational videos that students can access at any time to support their learning. These videos are examples of what for Taylor Training Company? What are they?
Digital asset, ma'am.
That's right. Which two of the following are features of DAMS? digital assets management system. Let's visit that page. Randomly, if I ask something, you may not be able to take it up. A digital asset management system is designed to coordinate the digital assets in terms of specialized, typically cloud-based database, single central location, security and access levels built in, clear categorization and search capability using metadata. Which two of the following are features of a DAMS?
C and D, ma'am.
That's right, C and D. Centralized single location, facilitated by cloud-based software. So there, the data is stored there. Now that can be easily retrieved and used. All that follows later. Because digital assets are stored on the cloud, it makes them less secure than if they were stored on a hard drive. It's about the security. They make them less secure. That is the key point there.
False, ma'am.
How are medium-term decisions better known? Strategic, managerial, operational, tactical. Middle level, medium term.
Managerial.
Ah, uh, management and tactical, not managerial. There is no term called as managerial. Either we call it as tact. See, first is strategic, then the middle level. Middle level, the names are tactical or management level, not managerial level. Then the low level is operational. So tactical is the term. 98 says, what does the acronym DAMS stand for? DAMS, Digital Assets Management. It's very obvious, digital assets, no? Other things do not have anything. So DAMS is Digital Asset Management System. DAMS, Digital Asset Management System. DAMS. There are three levels of decision making: strategic, tactical, and operational. In this context, which of the following statements are true? Strategic decisions are clearly important, but without good tactical support, good strategic decisions may never be realized. Second one, operational decision making may be the last of the three, but poor operational decisions will often cause cost cost to spiral out of control. Which one is correct, or both are correct, or neither of them are correct? So that is what we have to answer here. Strategic, this one indicates that strategic is important. That's the top level, but it is supported, it is dependent on tactical level. Good strategic decision may never be realized. Operational decision making, though it is the last one, but poor operational decisions will often cause cost to spiral out of control. So is that true? Yes, all of them are interconnected. So the strategic level decides for the entire organization. That will be implemented by tactical level. So if they decide on what products to be produced, so if they decide this product would be produced, how to produce that, what has to be taken up, what planning has to be taken up will be decided by the tactical level. this plan is now implemented by the operational level. So they are at different levels, but all of them are dependent on each other, interconnected to each other. See, operational level is the implementation. Implementation, if it is not effectively done, objectives cannot be achieved. On that note, we see that both of them are correct. 100, which of the following would be correctly described as information to the sales director of a business? Sales director. The invoice total of a sale made, whose sales director is at the top level. Okay. Which of the following would be correctly described as information? So is that relevant to that person? Director is someone who's at the top level. So which information is relevant to the sales director? The invoice total of a sale made, the average daily sales per department, the lead time expected on raw materials, the sales price list for the company's products. Which one?
Option B.
Average sales, daily sales per department?
B or D, ma'am.
D. D is the appropriate one, because see, they are not bothered about in-depth details. So in detail, they do not want. They just want the summary. How is anything doing well? The product is doing well, or how is the performance in any particular market? So focus is on a summary level. The in detail information is not what they are looking at. They just want the summary. So invoice of a sale made, average daily sale per department, they are not bothered to look into that. Then raw material is a part of the operations director. They will look into that. Sale price list of the company's products. So how would these products, because they are deciding on the products and services, so how would these things take place and all? What are the sales price list of the company's products? So I 101, the process of safeguarding information, important information from corruption, compromise, or loss, is the definition of what? Is it
Data
corporate
protection.
data protection? That's right. Corporate. In the context of data gathering and quality, which of the following statements are true? First statement says the technology available merely takes the legwork out of data gathering. Everything that is available now was available in the past, but it was too time consuming to gather it. With the improved data comes with it the need to be able to respond quickly. Shorter lead times are an essential aspect of improved data. The technology available merely takes the legwork out of data gathering. Everything was available in the past, but it was time consuming to gather it. Do you think so? Whatever is now available, it was available in the past also?
No, ma'am.
No, it's not available. So one is not correct. What about two? With the improved data comes with it the need to be able to respond quickly. Shorter lead times are essential aspects of improved data. So yes, they have to respond quickly. The data is available, then take decisions quickly. So 2 is correct. So 2 is correct. B is correct. 103. In the context of digital asset management system, which of the following statements are true? Once someone has permission to use, say, an image, there is nothing to stop them sharing the image with others. Second, once someone has permission to use, say, an image, then there is nothing to stop them using that image for longer than it was intended.
Neither are true.
Once someone has permission to use an image, there is nothing to stop them sharing that image with others. That's where comes the issue of privacy. See, they cannot go on sharing that with others, so that is not correct. So just because they were given the permission to use, they cannot share it with others. So the privacy part of it, security, those aspects, that's where we see the social media um, website owners are now being questioned in the court of law about what is the issue about security, privacy. So is it not right, is it not wrong that this data is shared with others? So they do not have the right to share it. So that on that context we see that one is wrong. What about two? Once someone has permission to use an image, then there is nothing to stop them using that image for longer than it was intended. If there is a time frame, it has to be used only within that time frame, not beyond that. So on that note, both of them are wrong. So both of them are wrong is neither are true. Which of the following best describes tactical decision making? That is middle level. Long-term decisions by senior management, decisions made repeatedly over the short term, decisions which impact the entire organization, decisions involving putting the strategic plan into action. Senior management is strategic. Entire organization is taken care by the strategic. So one A and C are not correct. B is decisions made repeatedly over the short term. Short term is the implementation level. Long term is the tactical level. Short term implementing, current period, the near future, how they would be implementing is short term, operational. Decisions involving putting the strategic plan into action. So the strategic management decides on what would be the course of action. How would they take it up is decided by the tactical level. See, if they have decided on product X and Y and Z would be produced, if that is the decision by the senior management, strategic management. Then to produce that, what should they be doing? How will they produce that will be decided by the tactical level. So decisions involving putting the strategic plan into action. It is by the tactical level. Beth and her colleagues at the same level of the organizational hierarchy are in discussions about which, if any, acquisitions to make using the surplus funds of the business. They are choosing between two similar businesses. Which level of decision making are they engaging in? Strategic, tactical, acquisitional, operational. There's nothing called as acquisitional. There are only three levels: strategic, tactical, and operational. The question is about they are in discussions about which, if any, acquisitions to make using the surplus funds of the business. Who can decide about acquisitions? Who can decide about the acquisitions? Acquisition involves the um, decision at a top level. See, the low level and the middle level cannot decide about acquiring another business. Acquisition is about acquiring some other business, taking over another business, merging with another business. So that is the decision which can be taken by the top management, the strategic management. So this is about strategic level. Maypole Limited has been analyzing various aspects. We'll do till 110 and then stop it today. Maypole Limited has been analyzing various aspects of the data that it collects. Their data analyst has identified that parents with children of a particular age are regularly searching for products on their website. Which benefit of data analytics is specially being exhibited? Enhanced data transparency, efficiency gains, enhanced performance, market customization.
Market customization.
Customization, catering to a specific requirement, that is customization. Um, the parents with children of a particular age group are regularly searching for the products on their website. So they can cater to the requirements of a specific group. Here it is children, so it is customization. It's not about transparency, it's not about gaining anything. Performance is also not reflected here. How did they implement? That is not a discussion here. So that is also not a case. It's about customization. 107 talks about which data which gives insight into the relationship between a product, relationship between a, just a minute, something is popping up. Data which gives insight into the relationship between a product launch and subsequent sales helps with which one aspect of the marketing mix. I think I didn't teach you about marketing mix.
Promotion.
I did promote product price place promotion 4 piece. Did we do? We did data, how data is useful in marketing and no, I just want to know, did I do this topic? 4 piece? Then right now we cannot take it up. I think when we come to uh, I didn't do. So right now let's not take it up. I didn't do. I will teach you about that particular aspect. Once we finish this one, then we can go to that one. So remind me that we have not done 107. Can we do 108? 109, in the context of GDPR, which of the following statements are true? The storage of data is not covered by the legislation. It is more about how the data is used. The data that is allowed to be stored is basically the same for all businesses. Which one is correct? Only 109 will do and then we'll stop. In the context of GDPR, the storage of data is not covered by the legislation. It is more about how the data is used. GDPR covers about that aspect as well. Okay, GDPR talks about the principles are used fairly, lawfully, transparently, used for specified explicit purposes. So usage of data. So it talks about the usage of data used in a way that is adequate, relevant, and limited to only what is necessary. Accurate and where required kept up to date, kept no longer than is necessary, handled to ensure appropriate security. The storage of data is not covered. So no, how it would be stored is also part of GDPR. So is not covered would make that a false statement. The data that is allowed to be stored is basically the same for all businesses. How can we generalize that? It is not that. Each business is different in the requirements of what the data is. So it is not correct. So both of them are wrong. Okay. Let's wind up this class on this note. Um, we'll meet tomorrow again and then take it up. Any doubts until now, whatever you've done? So tomorrow also we'll start with the discussing two questions, and we are anyway doing the last section in the PPT, that is about how the finance is interacting with the other uh, functions of the business. So we have started with the operations. So maybe we'll continue with the finance interaction with operations because it's little lengthy. So we'll complete this one, take it up. The next one, sales and marketing, and then do the questions related to that. So maybe 2 days or max 3 days, the content will be done, including the MCQs. We will be able to finish it. So be prepared so that we can wind it up in maximum 3 days. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.